Okay, this short video will show you how to read and interpret contour lines. Contour lines are lines that connect points of equal elevation. If you think of it, it's a little bit like bathtub ring or high water lines after a flood. The lines are all the same elevation as if water was filled to that level. Okay, so let's start out with point A here, and we're going to zoom in a bit on this map from down near Harrisonburg, Virginia. And you can see that it's labeled on the dark thinner or these darker lines that are more solid or thicker line, and they have a number that tells you their elevation. And in this case I can tell what the elevation is because if I put the hand on top of this 1800 and I go down here and look, okay, right now it says 1200, but that's because I moved the hand. But if I leave the hand up there at 1800 and you go down and look at that, you'll notice that it says about 1,800 feet also on in the bottom right below Google. Okay, same thing if I put it on 2,000, it'll say about 9,000. There it is, about 2,000 feet at that location um, where the hand is. Okay, so these lines called index contours tell us what the elevation is at a line all along this line or all along this line. So if you walk along this line, you're staying at 1,800 feet all the way along the edge of this mountain. But what about a point like A, which is not on one of those labeled lines? Well, we need to figure out what the contour interval is. And here you have 1,800 and here you have 2,000. So the difference between this one and this one is 200 feet. So how many increments do we have between these lines? It's always the same. They're spread out differently here. Here they're close together and here they're spread apart a bit. But if you notice, it's still one step, two step, three steps, four steps, fifth step. One step, two step, three step, four, fifth step. So if you have a difference in elevation of 200 feet between the dark lines, the index contours, and you divide that by 5 increments in between each, what do you get? How much is each line worth? And the answer to that is 40 feet. So that's called a contour interval. This map has a contour interval of 40 feet. So what's the elevation of A? Well, you can attack this from this line, follow this line, the 1,800 over here, and you could count downhill. How do I know that's downhill? Because look what's happening to the numbers. As you go down this way, they get smaller. Okay, so I could count backwards by 40s, or I could start here at the 1,600 line. So if we start at the 1,600 line and we move over here closer to letter A, we can count by 40s. So from 1,600, that's 1,640, 1,680, and then the next one is 1,720. So point A is 1,720 on that exact contour line. But what if the point isn't on a contour line? What if it's like a point over here where it's point B here is sitting off of a line? You do have this 2,200 foot index contour line, and you do know that this one the next one up is going to be 2,240, and the next one's going to be 2,280, but you don't have another contour line to go to the next level. So all you know is that this elevation is greater than 2,280 but less than 2,320. Okay, so you can't know exactly, you have to give a range. Okay, this last point, point C, is really interesting. You might notice that the contour lines look funny. They look spiky. They have teeth on them pointing towards the middle. Well, let's turn off the map a minute and see what we're looking at here. You see, it looks like some digging and some construction going on. This is a limestone quarry. There's a lot of limestone in the Shenandoah Valley. But what do they do when they dig a quarry? They go down. So what this is telling us is that the ground level is lower inside the quarry. So look at that again, and we can see, turn on, there we go. You can see that the quarry is sunken into the ground, and we know that from these hatcher lines. These points on the line, these lines that point toward the middle like spikes, uh, they tell us that it goes down in the center. In fact, we can figure out what the elevation is. Now, we're going down, remember, so we now count down. So let's figure out what the elevation of point C is. If we start at 1000, we know that we're going down because of the hatchers, so we have to count backwards. So if we start at 1000, it's going to be 960, then 920, then 880, and then 840, and then 800 will be our last one right here. But notice that that 800 is the dark line, or the thicker line. And we already knew from the beginning of this video that the difference in elevation between these darker index contours is 200 feet. And there you go, 800 feet is 200 less than 1000. This is a very deep quarry, 200 feet down. It's a lot. It looks deep too. All right, so that's it for reading contour lines.